Hello, everyone. Welcome to Knightspeed, Season 3, Episode 9, the aftershock of losing to Cincinnati at home. I'm your host, Matt
The
Johnson, with
aftershock, yeah. The,
brother Mark Johnson.
the same old story.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
I really went into this one thinking we were going to win this. I really did. I thought, again, we have on paper better talent than they have, but as we saw the 2 weeks previous, we couldn't get it done. And we drop a heartbreaker 19-13, which,
Another conference game in
yeah,
the column. And before we get into plays and this and that, this is one of those things to where you look at our schedule. This was the last game that you could look at and say there's a real good chance we can win.
mhm,
This was the last one.
yeah.
Got six more games. The
I
next four
favored us.
against top
I
15.
favored, yeah. This is the last one I will probably favor us to win. Was this one?
Yeah. And from here on out, it's just going to get ugly. We're going to go 3-9. I'm making that bold prediction now.
Yeah.
And I'm
Well,
willing to throw the season away as long as we can develop some people for next year.
but I mean, if you looked at a lot of the press conferences we had preseason, there was talk of us winning the conference.
Oh, I know.
How could you miss so badly? I mean, again, conference champion to where more than likely we're not even going to a bowl. We're not even going bowling.
We're not. We're the 3 and
So
9 record. You know,
yeah, I mean,
you look at that schedule and you tell me where you find a win.
oh, I can't. I can't.
We're not winning another game.
No, you're right. I can't. I cannot do that.
We're all just kind of now getting to the point where it's like, well, what we need to do is kind of just prepare yourself for a 3-9 record. And well, what I noticed, and at this point, everybody's aware of that. We had two different quarterbacks in the
Yeah.
game Saturday. We had EJ Colson who started, and for a kid who's 17 years old, looked good. You know, the first drive that he had going was really good. Threw the ball, ran the ball, things like that. Johnny sabotaged it. Johnny Richardson.
Yeah, well, also he again his first pass was an overthrow near the end zone there, but I think it was kind of rushed, and again, excuse me, he was again just a lack of practice or kind of game time situation, and I think that's what got him.
Yeah, I mean he only they said he only had one pass for 4 yards or four attempts, one pass for -6 yards. You know what that was?
Yes.
That was the fumble at the
Mhm.
4 yard line by Johnny,
Yeah.
which then you didn't see him play for the rest of the game.
No.
And I'm not sure you're gonna see him the rest of the season.
No. Yeah. I I would have a hard time.
But I think with Johnny, with Xavier Townsend leaving, I think they were trying to figure out a way to get Johnny to play Xavier Townsend's part out of the backfield.
Well, I look at Johnny, and yeah, well, Xavier Townsend, who,
Well, yeah, a guy who was here for 4 games and now is
yeah, who,
MIA. Yeah,
but
along with Colton Boomer, which we talked about last week.
mm, but if you look at Johnny Richardson, is kind of like an Otis Anderson or a Adrian Killens, right?
Yeah,
The same kind of speed, but
right.
just has not panned out. He's not worked out for us. He's
Well, he was a favorite because he's one who's been passed over. Let's face it.
yeah, yeah,
Gus has kept him around because Johnny has had that kind of work ethic that
yeah,
you don't want to discourage. He's a guy who's always accepted his role and
yeah.
sometimes very limited role, but he still accepted it and still excelled. And
Hmm.
I think Saturday's game kind of, you know, we're in trouble here this season, and I think maybe Johnny will play at Iowa State this weekend, but I would not be surprised if he didn't. Because now you don't know if you can trust him on the field.
Well, I mean, where was Penny Boone last week? I mean,
He didn't play one play, I don't think.
yeah, I mean, did you see him? I know he has no rushes. He didn't
No,
rush the ball.
I don't think he played. So is he moved on as well?
Is he injured? I mean, who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I know, Montgomery played. He was
Yeah.
back. You know, and well,
But again, Montgomery had 3 carries. That's it.
okay. Yeah, I mean, I guess what RJ had 94 yards, a hard-earned 94 yards.
Yes.
I mean,
And notice the third game where he's been under 100 yards and third loss in a row.
right. Well,
He doesn't get at least 100 yards, we're not going to win.
I mean, I think you got to agree that our offensive line is not nearly as good as we thought it was,
No.
you know, and at least it's not showing it the last couple of weeks to where,
Yeah.
Cincinnati was able to put pressure on both Ja'Cory Brown and EJ Colson. And Ja'Cory Brown, he was I think the one who's kind of the 1A right now, which with I think EJ Colson will play Saturday in Iowa State in Ames.
Yeah.
But I think Ja'Cory Brown is running with the ones right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you look at our offensive line,
Hmm.
Amari Kite, returner.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at Marcellus Marshall, returner. Caden Kittler did get some time. Did he start last year? I thought he did, at least one game.
Yeah.
So there's 3 guys on your offensive line, Mark, who have starts, and our line is remarkably.
Kenny, number 55, had a bad game, and I think this is his second bad game.
Yeah,
He's the one who, where I want to say it was fourth and whatever, and of course he jumped early, made
yeah,
and we didn't convert. You
oh
know,
yeah,
then late in the game, he's the one who jumped, cost us a 10-second runoff. It's like you can't have that, man. You cannot have, especially as Kenny's. He's been there. He's been in the program a while.
but yeah, he's the transfer from Georgia,
Okay.
and I guess maybe that's another reason why Georgia just let him move on.
Well,
Comes
again,
down to it, he doesn't have the discipline. And again, I look at our team and I look at, you could say that, yeah, Gus is a really nice guy, but we have awful team discipline.
yeah, and
It's games like this, the ones that are close like this is why you lose.
he was one who I think was looking to work on that, wasn't he? Wasn't that one of the things that he kind of preached about? Like I'm gonna fix, a lot of the chemistry issues and things like that with having a more disciplined team. And he said he really worked on that on fall camp.
And maybe it's better because they had, remember that one scrimmage where they had, what was it, 20, 21, penalties? So I don't know, maybe it's better.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. But you know, I think we got kind of caught short because Kinney there at the end moved to cost 10 seconds. And you can't
Yeah,
have that.
that's 2 plays.
I mean, we did have a problem where, oh, was it Kobe? I think was offsides because he just had a big and he didn't get back in time to.
Well, actually, what it was 2 men on the line of scrimmage.
Oh, okay. I,
It was
at that point,
on the line, which is, I can see that being a mistake. I'm not going to blame the team discipline on that one because that is something that you have when you're running hurry up offense. I mean,
right,
should it not happen? It shouldn't happen, but I can see it does happen.
right,
But again, that's not something that costs you 10 seconds.
right. Where Kenny did a couple of plays later, had that
Yeah, that's
flip
a
up, and it
big
cost us
penalty.
10 seconds, and it that killed the game, pretty much killed the
Yeah,
game.
yeah, 5, 10 yards, but it's the 10 seconds that you need.
Right,
I
and
I also thought the clock management was rough.
it was bad
But
all game. Like
yeah,
first half, we were sitting there letting clock run. We're trying to score before halftime, and it was just another kind of who's watching this. I don't expect Gus to sit there and really. I mean, he may be calling the game. You've got some coaching experience. I do as
mhm,
well. You don't sit there and sometimes you are worried about the clock and things like that, but you have someone watching that clock for you to
yeah,
tell you what the heck's going on.
that was.
And,
It's
and,
been, but you've noticed, like I said last year with the West Virginia game, we had the same problem. And again, it wasn't more than a
it's a
one score.
problem,
So
right?
yeah, it's a problem. And again, I don't know if they work on it. I don't. It's one of the
I
things that's
think,
still very frustrating though.
yeah, I think last week Gus probably showed up on Monday, said we're going to try something different here. I think KJ has lost his job. He's not getting it back. He's going to get the rest of his money just sitting on the sideline. Um, I guess there was a picture I saw on one of the social medias where his locker looked like it'd been torn up. Not bad, but to where he looks frustrated and, like after the game, he just took all his stuff off, threw it in there and left.
Yeah.
And okay,
Then ask myself why'd I come here?
hey, you're a professional. You and I talk about this.
Yes,
You
when you're
did
being
not get
picked.
yourself prepared to play.
No. And like I said,
And I'm not going to
that's
sit there and blame you about everything because Gus should have known what this could have been, or that this could have been just a disaster, which is what it was. I think what we've shown now, you got to stop getting these quarterbacks out of the portal. Not unless you've got some guy who is going to. Well, this was supposed to be a guy who fit a system, to a
yeah.
T, and it just completely blew up.
Mm.
But on a lighter note, I thought the defense played a lot better.
Well,
This,
again, they only gave up 19 points, Mark, which one was late. So you think about it, they had 13 points.
well, they gave up the lead late.
Yeah.
It was 13 all, wasn't it?
It was, no, it's 13-10.
Okay.
Because we needed two scores. You kind of gave me the whole why are we
Okay.
doing soft option with that? I said, you need two scores. You might as well get the field goal now and get the ball back. Because if we don't get it now, then the game's over now. We need points here. We're within
So
scoring
it was
distance.
10-10 and then 19-10.
Yeah. And it was like, we're down 9 points. We might as well get three here because if we don't, then it doesn't matter if we
But
get.
that's another thing. Wouldn't you agree that at the end of the first half, we had to come away with 3 points?
Yeah.
I mean, Cincinnati hit a 51 yarder,
Yeah.
you
Which
know,
is huge.
right. And
You know, you think about that, Mark. They don't hit that one, then we're only down by three.
well, not only that, if Johnny doesn't fumble, we're at 22. I can see us at least getting three out of that. I mean, there are just situations to where when Johnny fumbles again at the 4, they got three out of that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a 6 point swing there.
Yeah.
You know, that's a game loser. That's when you're not gonna probably see the guy play again.
No, I agree. Yeah.
But
And, I mean, well, you think about it, Mark. I mean, even if we can go down at 16-13,
right.
and I mean, Grant Reddick is supposed to have a good foot on him. Maybe he does hit a 50-yarder also.
Well, I don't think he's been tested. I think we did have him kick a 50-yarder and he was short or wide or something like that. He was,
Yeah.
he almost made it, but he didn't. And it was, it was encouraging because it was like, okay, I think we're going to be okay without Boomer.
Yeah.
But um, he did miss, I think. I could look this up. They're all starting to come together these games, kind of.
Mhm.
But yeah, we had the big problems. They got 6 points in the fourth quarter. We got nothing.
Yeah.
And
That's the tail of the game. And really, they went down and converted on a few third downs that we had to stop them on. We couldn't stop them, which again prolonged that drive. And there it is. There's your ball game. Because again, we go into the drive where we get the 3 points out of it, and we're only down 10, 13-10. We
right,
can get a field goal, and now we're in it.
right. Well, yeah, a lot of opportunities missed. When you grade the two quarterbacks, I think you know number 11 there that we played. I just lost my stats. Ja'Curry Brown. I think he's earned the opportunity to start on Saturday.
Yeah.
I think if he had 5 games under his belt, like we just started the season with him rather than KJ. I'm not saying we would have won any more games, but I think we'd have been a whole lot better. We probably would have won on Saturday,
Yeah.
and not that. But yeah, Cincinnati was banged up. You had a lot of players that were not playing for Cincinnati. I mean, this is one of those things that was really, if we could score more than 13 points, we should have won this game.
Mm-hmm.
And Cincinnati came in and stayed disciplined enough and came out with the win.
Well, I think you know as well as I do, Mark. You're not gonna win many games. You only score 13 points.
Right. You're not gonna score. You're not gonna win any games.
Yeah.
Our defense isn't that good to keep
No.
anybody under 13 points unless they start scoring, scoring touchdowns too. I mean, it's getting to the point now. If we're going to win another game this year, we're going to have some kind of scoring on special teams or on defense to have a chance to win.
And you can't have that every week.
And I've never seen, in almost 10 years, a def or an offense as bad as it is right now at UCF. And we've got talent there, and that's
Yeah.
the thing that kind of gets frustrating is that we've got a lot of talent, and it's just really not developed, or it's just not good, it's
Yeah.
not producing.
Like, heck, when you think about it, we had receptions. I mean, remember we had, I guess, a better passing game this week in the numbers at least. I mean, you got to think about it.
Yeah,
It was
I mean,
201 yards total, but Ja'Cory
not bad.
Brown
Yeah, he
did
had
go
a
for
decent
207
game,
and
a
a touchdown.
decent first game. He missed. I don't know who it was that he missed. I don't know his name, but number 9 and number 16 are decent receivers.
Yeah,
They are decent receivers, and he missed 9 wide open on at the
out of
flats at
the
one,
zone. Yeah,
and we needed that play. You need to make that. You got to make the easy throws. That's and yeah, it's his first game, but we'll see if that turns into a problem. I guess we'll have to see what Gus does about it. But
but
there
you
was
can tell rush the throw. It was Javarius Johnson who he threw it to.
okay.
Javarius Johnson did have 2 catches on the night, which that's something. You can't really count RJ Harvey's 2 catches because he's out of the backfield. Chauncey Magwood finally hit the score, the stat sheet.
Yeah,
1 catch for 34 yards. It was. I've been waiting for that all season. I'm glad we got it 6 games in.
and he was all by himself. If that's a better throw, it's a touchdown.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And this is the kind of stuff that you need to start polishing him on. If you're gonna, because I don't know if EJ Colson throws a better pass there and he hits him because he got behind the defense and that's a touchdown if it's a better pass. He caught
Yeah.
it still on a 4th and 2 to convert, but it'd been
Well, it was
nice to
over
get
30
some
yards.
points.
I mean, it's a 30-yard gain.
Right. Would have been nice to have been a 50-yard gain or whatever, just
Yeah.
because
But you
we're not
also
getting
look
there.
at Jacoby Jones. There's a young player that caught the ball. I mean, he only had one for 14 yards, but nonetheless,
Just
where
number
has he been for
16,
the first
that kid
6 games?
doesn't
Yeah,
play. He's a good player.
yeah. Where's he been? 6'3", big body. Johnny Richardson, of course, that was the 1 catch for minus 6 yards. But again, 7 of the 12 receptions.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 13 receptions. Excuse me, went to Kobe Hudson.
Okay.
No, he had 114 yards. 16.3 yard average. It looked very nice with the Ja'Cory Brown, quick slants to Kobe Hudson. And again, that's what he scored a touchdown
Well,
on.
he had some crisp passes when he was on. He was on. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
he's hitting guys. Like I said, he just needs to kind of clean up a little bit here, and he kind of needs to get a little bit more comfortable back there. And then you got your quarterback.
Yeah.
And um, like I don't know what you do with KJ. Do you sit there and let him stay around? I guess so, because I guess there's a small possibility you throw him back out there for something, but I don't know what. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I'm sure his attitude is garbage at this point,
And
and
then that's why I guess when you release him.
you're still going to have to pay him. But then again, I guess you release him if you just know you're not going to use him again. You might as well just go ahead and start getting ready
Well, as far
for.
as I'm concerned, Mark, if you're 3-3, 3-4, 3-5, then you just go to Colson, you go to Risk, you go. I mean, because
I don't
again,
think Risk. I think Risk and Trujillo might stay around for another year or two. But I think Risk is gone at the end of this year.
and he might be, but I would just say if you've got 4 games with him, might as well see what he's got.
Right.
I mean, just because what do you got to lose? There's nothing to lose here.
Well, no, that's true. I mean, I guess we can curtail this into this weekend's opponent of Iowa State up in up in Ames, Iowa, ninth ranked Iowa State, that is.
Yeah, what a nightmare.
And it's going to be interesting because they've got a really good defense, you know, and obviously 6-0. They've beaten some good teams. They've beaten all the best teams so far in our conference. They've beaten Iowa
Yeah.
on a real good game at the beginning of the season.
Hmm.
It will be interesting to see how Ja'Cory Brown does against Iowa and that defense because they're going to have guys. That was the one thing that Ja'Cory Brown had the advantage over is Cincinnati had never seen him.
Yeah.
They didn't know what to do with him. Didn't know how he rolled. Didn't Ja'Cory Brown, State will be ready for you. They will
Yeah.
someone shadowing you. So as soon as you start taking off, he's going to be right there on you.
Yeah.
And so you're
And
going
they
to
have
have to
better
make
talent than Cincinnati had. They will have a better talented team.
and you're going to have to make plays with your arm. You
And
know,
you're going to be in their place.
right now I don't know
There's,
if you
there's
throw
no way.
EJ Colson out, a 17-year-old kid out, in I mean, that kid's not going to be 18 until December.
Well, if you look 17, 18, what's the real difference?
But he should have been in high school this year. I mean,
Yeah. But I
so
mean,
the kid, it's just, you know, you don't want this kid getting pretty much ruined because you throw him into such, you throw him to the Lions pretty much.
no, I agree. But I mean, you look at Iowa State has beaten Iowa. They've beaten West Virginia.
Yeah.
And did I say that was also a road game? So they beat them in Mountaineer Stadium. Not an easy
Oh,
thing to do.
and by the way, we're going to Mountaineer Stadium later this year.
Yeah. Well,
And
they beat them by 2 scores.
yeah, I don't know how Gus is going to pull this together, right?
Yeah. They clobbered Baylor last week. Clobbered them 43-21.
Yeah, well, 43 points, right? It
Yeah.
was a clobbering. Again, we've scored 13 points the last two weeks. And
Well, see, I'm looking at this like, do I want to watch this? Do I want to watch us get, hammered?
well,
Or,
we'll see how the defense reacts. Like I said, I think our defenses have strung together. They're a bend don't break defense. It's not like a real dominant defense, but I want to see what they plan against, if they can get some pressure on this Iowa State quarterback, because that's another thing. Jamal Johnson, obviously, Nixon, those kids are players.
yeah, no. I mean, but that's the thing is Nixon's young. A lot of these guys are young guys. And what it is, you look at this and you say to yourself, well,
When you get John Walker back, you got, Johnson, Walker, Isaiah
Walker's
Nixon.
back.
Well, next year.
Okay, so all
Yeah,
right.
everybody keeps thinking, well, he's coming. He's
Oh, you had a
coming
revelation like
back
he's coming
this
back
season.
this year.
I
Yeah,
think
I
he's going to
don't
come
think so.
back.
And why would you make him come back, especially with an injury like that? I'd sit him for the year and let him be ready for next year,
Right.
especially when you're losing Lee Hunter.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess Hunter's only a junior.
Oh, I think he's gone. But
Yeah. See, Ricky Barber,
the
they lose.
unfortunate thing about yeah, Ricky Barber's definitely gone.
Yeah.
But Lee Hunter, if he stayed, you have to pay him a lot of money to keep him. And I think he's worth it, but we'll see.
Yeah.
They decide just to go move on to the next level.
Well, a lot of these guys will stick around for their senior year, especially when they're making money, because they can make as much money, if not more money, playing here than they can with their rookie contract.
Right. No, that's true. Um, but I hope Lee Hunter doesn't just move on. Like I think I've done all I can do here, and next thing you know,
I wouldn't blame him though.
I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't. I wouldn't blame him. He does. It's one of those things. It's
Well, yeah, kind of what this season's turning into. Like with RJ, I know I was talking to you about going. Gus should have said, RJ, you should leave and take the money somewhere. Like it,
Mhm.
I'm sure Florida or Miami was looking at him and offering him, and he stayed here. And I'm sure we probably either matched or came close to it. And you look at just kind of how his senior season's working out for him. I wish he would have just moved on and
Yeah.
success somewhere else. Like he could really
And,
help Florida, you know.
no, I agree. You
But
know, Florida has that defensive lineman who played at Memphis, 6'6". He's doing a really good job there at Memphis. So, but I guess Lee Hunter's, could he move to defensive tackle instead of nose tackle? Because Florida's got that, they've got that worked out. But
Who's
then
that?
going back to, our quarterback situation, in our receiver situation, we've got to get some of these guys. And again, if we're really going to kind of burn down the season, we've got to see who we have and who can play.
No, I agree.
Because if we don't, then they're going to leave anyway, and we won't know anything about them. And again, we'll have that. As much as I really am not a fan of Tommy Castellanos, because
He
I
was in
call
our
him,
locker room. Yeah.
yeah, I call him the king of the broken play.
But he was in our locker. Man, we could use him Saturday night, right?
No, I agree. And again, he
Yeah.
does move the ball.
Yeah.
And really, that's all I'm asking. Just move the ball.
We could have used him and he probably would have won the game. You know?
Yeah, and it's just
Oh, we'd have got more than 19 points. I think he would have been one who would have been able to get us like 38, 40 points. And it's one of those things to where, you know, I think Gus was kind of asked about Tommy Castellanos today in his Monday presser. And
what
he
do you say?
played it off of, well, who knows if he'd have been here anyway, to where you got to deal with a year by year
Yeah,
situation. Like he may have just left after this year anyway, or obviously, Matt, if we want to take Castellanos that bad, you just go pay for him.
yeah.
You
But do
know,
you bring him back?
no, not now.
And that's the thing, Mark. If you're going to go buy somebody, we should have just went and bought Dylan Gabriel again.
No, that guy's making serious money at Oregon.
Yeah, so we could match that.
I don't think so.
Now, is this
I
NIL?
think
Is this
ours
like
is
this Nike money?
what?
Is Nike paying him this? I mean, is this
Well, I'm sure
is
Phil Knight.
Nike an NIL donor to Oregon? And again, how's that fair?
I bet you he's making probably close to 3 million this season.
Okay, well the kid at Tennessee, Mark's making 8.
Well, okay, that kid sucks. They said he's got a lot of promise, but he's not winning them games. Just like,
Well,
I think.
but him also, Mark, in the last 2 games, he's only scored 27 points. They lost one and almost lost the other one. The two really not very good teams, Arkansas and Florida. Now, I'm
Well,
looking at these
yeah,
kids also. You look at these kids. Let's say he makes 8 million this year, 8 million next year, and 8 million. So he's made 24 million, and he keeps half of that.
I can guarantee you he will not make $8 million next year at Tennessee. He will not.
Well, what is he going to get? 6, 4?
They're going to say you're going to take this, or you can get out of here.
Yeah, and
They'll
okay,
just get the next hot shot out there will take 8 million. You could have gotten Dylan Gabriel for $8 million, man.
yeah,
So why would you and Heupel knows Dylan quite well.
yeah,
Dylan knows Heupel's offense quite well. If he was
yeah.
going to pay him $8 million, that's why they always throw these numbers out, and I'm just not sure he got. I mean, these kids get so many things to kind of add up to $8 million, but I don't think this kid got $8 million cash.
Well, just said 8 million NIL. That's what I.
Well, what that means is
sure.
too is mom and dad get to fly to games, probably first class, or on a private jet, maybe. I mean, it's crap like that. That all gets added into your NIL.
Well, I'm looking at this as you think
If you
about
paid that kid $8 million and you had Dylan Gabriel, who's only getting like 3 million, then you screwed up, Josh, because
yeah, no, I
you
agree.
had a winner in Dylan Gabriel, who you know well.
Yeah, and knows like
He knows your offense.
yeah.
So, that's interesting, but again, I don't think that kid's making $8 million next year. There's no way.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I just said is if you're making $8 million for 3 years, you don't need to go to the pros.
Right. No,
And
you're
then look at this also is okay. So now I've made $24 million. I've kept 12 of it. I don't have to go anywhere. And then what happens 10 years from now when you got another lawsuit that comes in and says, a contract's a contract where you can say, well, now he's just an employee of the college and he's in his 6th year playing quarterback for him.
Again, I don't think this kid's making $8 million. Second of all, you're paying taxes on that. You're paying taxes on that, what, 38% or whatever that is? 32%?
Yeah.
This kid's not making 8 million. Like I said, I think he's got a package of he probably was given a car or two that that's very popular, which goes on top of the NIL. He's probably making closer to 3.
Yeah.
And like I say, $8 million. I'd love to know what that breakout, because that's a lot of money for someone who really isn't producing. And then the first thing I would be doing is saying, you're not playing here for $8 million next year.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just no way in hell I'd pay that kid $8 million again. I mean, to me, $8 million means you're winning me a national championship or get the hell out of here.
No, I don't
I'll take
think.
you for one.
Yeah, Tennessee's going to lose the Georgia game. They'll probably lose the Alabama game this week. They're not going anywhere.
That kid is not worth $8 million then. An $8 million quarterback should win me those games.
No, I agree.
And they got a decent defense. They do. Tennessee, which is kind of shocking for Josh Heupel. But
Well,
yeah, I think
they've got the funds now to where UCF did not have those funds.
no, I
And
know.
working on buying and and recruiting good defensive players. That's what
No,
it.
yeah, no, I agree. But if you're paying that guy $8 million, I don't know how you didn't go after Dylan Gabriel for $8 million, because I'm sure you could have got him for that, and you know what you got with him.
Mhm.
Guy has a great deep ball. We've seen the guy two years at UCF tour.
Yeah, it's right.
He's been in the freaking college football forever.
It is what it is. Yeah.
Right. But like KJ, I don't, I think we're around the $1 million mark, and that's it. And that might be car, you know, expenses of things like that, and then money.
Hmm.
But we're still paying this kid, KJ.
Yeah.
It's kind of tough when you're paying a kid and he's not playing,
No,
especially
I
that kind of
agree.
money. And it'll be interesting next year to see what happens with Gus. If he finishes 3-9, I don't see any of the alumni here giving him any money to go buy players. So
He's not.
he's gonna have to figure out who's worth playing on this team and
He
develop them.
he's turned into a non-talent evaluator. That you can't trust his talent evaluation.
Well, that's another thing I think Mahajer needs to do. He needs to find somebody who can do that flat out. That this guy is especially if you're gonna spend that kind of money on somebody,
Hmm.
to where, back to Tennessee. I mean, since we're talking NIL and things like that, to where Tennessee is now going to start charging their fans more in ticket sales and everything else, so they can buy players.
Yeah.
That's what you know our old athletic director has kind of figured out to do there,
Hmm.
Andy White. But you know, if you're charging me a whole lot of money, I don't care what campus you're on. If that quarterback is not playing the way you're expecting it, you're not paying for that. I mean, this is the thing. Like I said, with Josh Heupel supposedly paying this kid $8 million, I would be livid if I were a Tennessee fan.
Yeah.
This kid's making the kind of plays he's making. He's not worth $8 million,
No. Yeah. No, I agree.
especially when Michigan's ready and willing to pay $3 million for a quarterback from now on, is what they said.
Yeah. Well, let's go back to us.
Yeah, I'm just
Now, if you look at the defensive side of the ball,
okay.
one good thing we had here, Mark, 2 sacks.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
Jamal
this is
Johnson had a real good sack.
Jamal Johnson, and again, Mark, he's only a freshman.
He's a player. I'm telling you, that kid is a player.
And again, we've got to. I mean,
You know,
I'll be more patient if we have guys who are freshmen and sophomores playing that are kids
yep.
we've recruited and say, here's here's your home. Play here and work out and do your thing. Because I think this whole transfer in is really just for kind of like a fill a hole or fill a spot. It's not necessarily building your team on the transfer portal like we're doing. Because it seems like we're missing a lot more than we're gaining with the transfer portal.
Well, LeBlanc, they're trying to make him a defensive tackle,
Yeah.
and he's used to playing defensive end, I guess. And to me, I'm like, put him back at end, you
Yeah.
know, and that's a guy you go find in the portal, a defensive tackle. And I'm sure you can find a G5 guy somewhere, like you said, in Memphis, or
Yeah.
you can find a G5 tackle that's good enough to where you can have LeBlanc play his natural position. And then you'd have that guy backing up Jam Johnson or Walker next year, and you have LeBlanc who's able to, play his natural position.
Hmm. Well, LeBlanc didn't make the stat sheet this week.
Well, I'm saying I think they're still trying to turn him into a down lineman inside, and I just don't think it's working, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah,
And to me, it's kind of like what's going to happen is this kid's going to get frustrated with this, and what he's going to then do is sit there and someone say, "Hey, we'll let you play defensive end here," and he'll be gone.
yeah.
And it's like, you got to be smart about this because if he was really showing promise at the defensive tackle, he'd be playing there by now.
Yeah.
Keep him at end.
Isaiah Nixon had
Keep simple things simple.
Yeah, Isaiah Nixon had a sack.
He plays in. He's a good player. That kid.
Yeah.
You know, he and Jam Johnson were the ones who had 2 sacks, the 2 freshmen. You know,
Hmm. Yeah.
and I don't know. It gets frustrating. You know, when this seeing this. 'Cause
Again,
I think
Larry
we have,
Tennyson
yeah,
with the
Tennyson. How do you
interception.
do?
He had an interception.
Okay, yeah, he did, and so did
Had 4 tackles.
number 0 had I think his first interception of
Yeah.
his career, and
Yeah.
Adams.
2 tackles, 4 and an interception.
Yes, we had 2 interceptions on Cincinnati. That guy doesn't throw interceptions, that quarterback. So, like I said, I thought the defense was a bright spot in the game. It was just the
Hey,
offense was so abysmal.
if you're going to give up less than 20 points, Mark, you deserve to win. And really,
I
the
agree.
last 2 weeks with the defense, they gave up 24, and there's 24 in the first half, but then they gave up 20. Those are two scores on the defensive side. You deserve to win. And
Right.
again, they were beaten by double digits in one, and then beaten where we couldn't move the ball to go down and win in the second one.
No, you're
But
right.
really, our troubles lie solely really with the offense. With our offense, if our offense is so just stagnant right now, and not
Well, that's going to be an interesting thing because Gus has 6 games. Let's see what you
yeah,
do with this offense in 6 games. Because if you're not getting more output in this game, and I know we got good teams, but
hmm
you got to fix this. Either fix this, or I don't know what Terry Mahaju does. Like I
yeah,
think, like I'll go back to what I was talking with a friend of mine who's one of the uh, one of the alumni that really is in the NIL biz, and he's saying what's going to happen is they're going to basically say to Terry is like Gus is just a figurehead. We're moving the offensive coordinator back to being Doug. They're going to say Gus is basically part of recruiting and a figurehead. That's all he is here.
yeah.
They're going to take all his power away from him, or they're going to stop giving money.
Well, you look at our offense again. With that, it's tough to have a good offense when you're giving up 4 sacks to Cincinnati.
Yeah, Corleone got loose there kind of at the end of the game and one other thing. And I think it's you know J J Brown was not really kind of figuring out where he was all the time,
Hmm.
and you got to figure out where that guy is. And when you start, and this will, I think, hopefully come with him playing more.
Yeah,
You
well, you
start
remember
looking,
Dante Corleone didn't really hurt us. He had 4 total sacks with one. I mean, 4 total tackles with 1 sack.
yeah, but that 1 sack was a pretty big sack.
Yeah, but he's their best player.
But yeah, he dominates that line to the point to where people are, he's pushing one way, and and again, I think you need to kind of he needs to kind of get the feel of the game, and I think they were kind of making the point about Colson is he was a little kind of surprised at how quick the game was.
Yeah.
That's kind of one thing that he did struggle with is that he was kind of struggling at first with the quickness of the game,
Hmm.
and that's the reason why I think Jakari Brown went in, you know, and kind of stayed in because I think he's one who has more experience at the college level than EJ does. But
Yeah.
EJ looked good. He just got sabotaged a few times by Johnny.
No, yeah, but again, if you look at our passing game, we have a guy who competes 13 passes. Their
Yeah,
passing game, he competes 25 passes.
so our guy Ja'Cory Brown, 13 passes for 201 yards.
Yeah.
201 yards not bad for a
No, it's not. It's
first
not.
game. Not
But
bad.
again, they scored. They completed twice as many passes we did. Now he had 241 yards, but again, when you're completing passes, that also goes into time of possession and ball control.
Sacks. Yeah.
I mean,
Which because I would have
you
thought
look,
it would have been more yards, but there were a few sack like Brown got sacked a few times, so I'm sure that you know
well, again, you look at time of possession. They had more, almost 7 minutes time of possession more than we did.
that'll beat you.
That's a half a quarter
That'll beat you every time, man. Yeah.
every time.
But we couldn't get the running game really going at all. I think RJ kind of really just shows how good of a running back he is that he gets really no help anymore and is able to kind of make things happen.
No, yeah, I agree. And you think Ja'Carri Brown had just 10 yards less. He had one carry less, so he carried the ball 16 times
Yeah,
to
I think he's going
RJ's
to help with the
7
running
times.
game.
Yeah,
If he can really kind of develop his game, he should help the running game because he can throw. You know,
yeah. I mean, if you look at Ja'Carri and RJ both together, Mark, let's just say that's all Ja'Carri running. I'm sorry,
right?
or RJ running. That's still just shy of 180 yards running. That's that
Good.
should that's what we want. A running
Yeah,
back
that's pretty
reaching
good.
100 yards.
I agree
So,
completely.
but again, you have two guys who are in that locker room in Boone. Now, mind you, we did see Miles Montgomery did get the ball. We only got 3 times.
He didn't do that bad, did he?
No,
He didn't break anything, but you know, I thought he made
he,
one play.
he
He
did.
made something out of nothing.
We also had one too where he got tackled on an open field tackle. Did you see that one?
No, I
it
didn't.
was it was early. He did get a 3 yard gain, but he came up and the safety tackle about 3.5 yards downfield.
Yeah,
And it was one of those things that if he breaks this tackle, now it's going ways because then it's
right,
a foot race.
right,
So he's due.
right.
But again, he's not a senior.
Oh, really? So he'll be back next year.
Yeah, if he decides to
Hopefully,
be back, he'll
hopefully,
he'll
yeah.
be back. Yeah,
Because you never know anymore.
you don't know.
But he is. I think he's a kid from Florida, so maybe he will be back. Because he's a
Yeah.
good player.
Oh no, I agree.
But it's going to be interesting to see what happens to where as we always talk. And I'm not going to beat up on Gus because I really do believe he's trying. He's trying to get this team better. You know,
I don't think he likes losing either.
right?
But
So I'm not saying that because he is here for at least the next 2 years.
yeah,
You
unless you buy him out, which we don't want to.
we're not giving him $12 million to not coach.
No.
So he's going to be here this year and next year, and then the following year. If this is still going on, he'll probably be going after about third game or so.
Yes.
They'll figure something out, or he'll probably just quit after next year. If he's three
Yeah.
and nine next year, man, I'll probably quit. You say, I'm not getting it done.
Yeah.
I don't think he needs the money that bad.
No, he does not. And you think about it. Iowa State's next, then BYU, then Arizona, then Arizona State, West Virginia, and then we finish with Utah.
Right.
I don't see a lot of wins in those.
I don't see any. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I've said we're going 3-9.
Yeah.
We're 3-3. Remember a month ago I said just wait till we're 3-4. Well, that's coming.
But the only thing I'm saying is because I think we could possibly beat Arizona because it's the space game.
We'll see. I mean, we did pull off that.
Miraculous win
A
against
surprise against Oklahoma State, but
well, we've never lost a space game. Until we do lose a space game, I'm still going to say that's an advantage for us.
okay. I mean, I don't really care what kind of uniform we're wearing that day. I still think Arizona comes in here and beats us just
Oh
because
yeah.
we're scoring 13 points.
Well, like I said, until it happens, I'm still going to be the
Right.
space game magic.
Yeah, well, I guess we'll find out, right?
Yeah.
But Utah, I guess Utah lost again on Friday night to her. I think Utah is on the verge of collapse. They're talking like West Virginia is one of those teams that they're saying is on the verge of collapse.
Yeah.
Utah now is with Cam Rising is just having a terrible season. This is like their second or third game they've lost. I think it's their third game, isn't it?
Yes. What do you think about too? With is he playing?
I don't know.
See,
I'm
Ty
not watching.
Willingham, his offense is really big is in 13 position, which means you have a tight end. It's almost kind of like a
That
Gronkowski.
tight end, yeah,
Yeah,
that
you
tight
got three
end.
tight ends, and with that, I don't think he has the personnel.
Okay.
And again, without not having the personnel like that, it's tough. And that's kind of goes back to ours. See, we're more comfortable when we get to 12 man, position.
Right.
11, then it gets kind of, and then we never do any 13 because I don't think that's in Gus's playbook. Besides, I don't think we have the personnel for a three tight end system anyway.
Yeah, number six there. I'm trying to remember his name that we just got this, you know, four-star kid himself, maybe three, high three. Sometimes you get bumped down when they come to UCF. But yeah, he's just sitting on the sideline. So, we have, number 44 who also kicks off as a
Tight
tight.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's from Michigan State.
Yeah, he's more of a blocking tight end,
Yeah,
Like again in blocking plays. But then Pittman is pretty much your go-to receiver,
yeah,
the tight end. Number six, I'm trying to remember his name, but you know, on on the offense,
yeah. Well,
I
yeah, Pittman is a sophomore, and then you got what Colin Fox, who's a senior. So
Kylan Fox. Oh, he should be a freshman.
he's a freshman. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's the one who just came here. I haven't seen him play yet. Maybe he's already decided he's just gonna sit out. I don't know, or maybe.
Well, he probably should because you got Grant Stevens, who also plays a little more also. So it's
Well, you can still kind of redshirt and play 4 games. So, I don't know. I'm not really watching special
yeah,
teams. I hope these kids aren't playing special teams.
yeah. No, I agree.
You should maybe
So
get plenty of defensive kids to play special teams, you know, unless you're playing, kickoff or punt return, kick return or punt return.
mhm.
But it's I so what when do you think your prediction on Saturday night?
Oh, I'm going to say Iowa State 41, UCF 13, and it'll be a late 13. I mean, we'll get like a 3 or a 7. It'll be like 41-10. We'll never be in the game, and
Yeah.
I think they're going to house us up there in Ames.
So when do you think you tune out?
Probably when we get down 24-3.
24, 21, 3?
Yeah,
Because I have a feeling it's going to be a 38 to 3 thrashing.
yeah,
And it's going to be like, and again, I think Gus is just kind of panicked at this point. I bet he throws KJ in there on Saturday at the end, just to see what KJ can do.
why?
Because you got him, and you might, to where I think Jakari Brown is going to really start to see a defense who planned for him. EJ
Hmm.
Colson I'm not sure he's ready for it. Not saying that he won't be always, but that's going to be a big game. A lot of 60,000 fans in there.
Yeah,
Well, and that's a good defense, a lot better defense than what we just played.
a lot better.
So I think you're going to have some guys struggle. So I could see him throwing KJ in there at the end just to kind of hand the ball off and see what. And and at this point, I wouldn't do that. I would just sit there and you walked away from him, stay away from him at this point.
Hmm. Yeah. Wow.
And maybe
It's
KJ say no, because I think is he a fifth or sixth year? KJ is.
KJ's fifth year.
Okay, so he's fifth. I don't think he would get a 6th year.
No.
But he's around in 20.
Yeah. No. He's. Um. And I'm just looking at these Iowa State stats. Again, they throw the ball between 25 and 30 times a game.
Run the ball probably
Yeah, they
well.
like run the ball about. Yeah, I mean, for what I'm looking at, they look very, very 50-50. They can run the ball, throw the ball. So it looks to me like they might not even have to throw the ball against us, just run it at us, keep the
Okay.
off the clock. Which again, if our offense is off the field, then they will probably get no sense of rhythm. Yeah, I'm really. I got to admit, I'm not really looking forward to this week's game.
So you're saying 41-13. I'm saying 38-3.
Yeah.
And I'll probably stop watching after.
And again, 41-13, mind you, Mark, but we were never in the game.
Right. No, yeah. No.
It's like a
41-13
goodbye
tells me
gift
you were
after a
never
birthday party.
that you were never in the game at 41-13. Now,
No.
if you win 41-35 and you score two garbage touchdowns at the end, I can say, well, they're never really in the game. You just got two garbage, because a lot of second teamers are in at that point. Because that's the one thing hopefully we may get is we may get a bunch of second teamers coming in the second half. You know?
Yeah, but still, I don't know. I still think they beat us pretty bad. It's going to be like I said, 13. We're going to get one maybe late, and it's going to be one of those things that you might even have EJ Colson get the touchdown drive for the late score. It's going to be like when you used to take your kids to a birthday party and they got a like a goodbye gift, like a little bag.
Get a
That's
little
what it
baggy.
is for
Yeah.
us. Yeah. Before we get on the plane, they're going to give us like a little like a field goal or a touchdown to leave
I
with.
always found that fascinating.
Yeah. So.
That your kid usually, right? I don't know who said this, but you would show up to the party with a gift for the
Mhm.
kid, and you put it on the table or whatever, and your gift back was a piece of the cake.
Yeah.
That's all you got, and you were fine with that. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know when it turned into you had these bags and you were given, you know, you know, gifts back to these kids for showing up. Although, who knows? But I remember
But
when we were kids, it was like you brought a gift, and your gift back was you got a piece of the cake
mhm.
that you were just fine with.
Yeah. Well, I look at the receiving core for Iowa State, and they've got 8 guys with stats.
Oh yeah,
And we're talking, and 5 of them have the stats that match Kobe's.
yeah. I mean,
So they got a
our
slew of
receivers are starting to wake up a little bit. I think because that's one thing that Jakari Brown is looking around. He's because
yeah.
Whittemore still hasn't done anything, has he?
No, he's. I mean, if you think of the game, Whittemore had he have one reception.
That was it, huh? And that was the one you and I were kind of discussing, and where I said, was that this week to where he was open, wide open, and he didn't catch the ball?
No, my mistake. He had no receptions.
Okay, so he,
And really, remember that when he had that punt return and it looked like he fumbled?
he I don't really remember. No.
Well, he had a punt return. I don't know if it was a fake, if it was a
Right.
like a fair catch,
Uh-huh.
but he caught it and somebody hit him, so I guess it wasn't a fair catch. And then
Right.
all of a sudden he's down, and all of a sudden the ball was out. They recovered, but I guess they blew the whistle. But that was almost a disastrous situation.
Yeah, I didn't understand that because we got a 15-yard penalty on that from chop block. You had
Yeah.
one of our kids kind of threw in front of it. The kid just went flying, and then Whittemore catches it.
Watching the replay, it was a chop. You know who did that?
Who?
Um, our longtime safety guy. What's his name escaping me now? Quad Bullard
Really? Okay.
did that. It's like, pal, you've been around here, played enough football to know you don't do that.
Well, I didn't think it was that, to me, it was just the guy was way ahead of, the defense, the flyer there.
Uh
He
huh.
just went over to take the guy out. Like, you're not going to hit my, the punt returner. You're not going to hit Whittemore. So
Yeah.
technically, but then again, somebody got around, like I said, and hit Whittemore when was the fair catch. He caught it and gets it leveled. It's like, where's that flag?
Yeah.
That's another thing I've been saying for 3 weeks now. Big 12 refereeing sucks ass. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just these guys are very inconsistent. We had one Cincinnati player, I think he like pushed or punched RJ.
Hmm.
He drops the flag and then picked it up. It's like, what
Yeah.
the hell is this going on? It's like Big 12 officiating is garbage. Yeah, I thought AC was bad, but Big 12 is just garbage. It's Bush
Well,
League.
we get a whole other podcast on that with the. I mean, I don't know. Just I guess you got to put up with if you're gonna play the game.
Right. But and I don't know who officiated. I'm thinking it was SEC crew 2 weeks ago. But the
Yeah,
last 3 weeks, or yeah, 3 weeks, it was, Big 12 officiating was just poor. You know,
yeah.
these guys are, I don't know what they're doing. Okay, anything you want to say to wrap this up?
No, I've already said my score prediction.
Yep.
I'm not really looking forward to this week. It seems like we have a team that's in total disarray. You know, I would like to say that I'm going to be pleasantly surprised, but maybe
I'm
that's
not. That's left. I'm not even thinking pleasantly surprised anymore. I'm just thinking I don't want to get embarrassed. I'm
no.
now looking for the moral victories of, well, we competed. That's all I'm looking for.
Competed, or so and so had some good stats, and he's a young player, and he's got a lot of promise.
Well,
Stuff.
we
That's
competed.
the only thing I really have left.
Yeah, we competed, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because against Cincinnati, that was the one thing that when I walked out of there Saturday night going, well, at least we competed today.
Well, the last 9 games here, when we started 3-0, the last 9 games, I don't know if this is going to be like a 2016 season or 2015 season, where we're just a dumpster fire.
When you start pulling your quarterback 6 games in the season, I'm seeing dumpster fire happening.
Yeah.
And
And I mean,
again, man, that's usually what gets you fired.
yeah.
You know, dumpster fires is what gets you fired.
Hmm.
And, I think we have more talent than a dumpster fire, but we don't have a quarterback right now.
Yeah.
So, and it's kind of late in the season to really kind of have any kind of, success when you got a new starter 6 games in.
No, yeah.
Starter that doesn't really have much experience.
No, with the exception of what the 3 quarters last week, that's really all he's got because he didn't have much of Miami.
He played the bowl game last year, they said. And
Oh, did
he
he?
lose the bowl game?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, he didn't play the bowl game because they didn't go to a bowl. They're horrible. They didn't
Miami
make a
didn't go to
bowl.
a bowl last year?
Yeah, and they're no bowl.
Okay, then he went to the bowl game the year before
Maybe that was it. Yeah,
because
but they lost
something,
that.
yeah, he was the quarterback for the bowl game or whatever.
Yeah, they lost to something like La Tech.
There you go. All right.
Yeah,
But he's probably a true freshman at the time because he's only sophomore now.
yeah, redshirt sophomore.
Redshirt, yeah. So he didn't play last year. And hopefully he can have a good week of practice and
Hmm.
make something happen. But
But he's got an upside, which I'm happy. But I think when you get these kids who are getting NIL money, if you're going to be paid, you got to act like a pro. And
yeah,
again,
well,
if
nowadays
you
I
came
don't
here
feel bad
expect
for
to
these
be,
guys getting criticism because you're a professional.
yeah,
Like it or not, kid, you got
and
to
you're
grow
making
up.
money, yeah,
If you're man
grow
enough
up.
to take the bill, you're man enough to take that check, you're man enough to get the criticism when you're not
Hmm.
performing
Yeah,
and get over it.
and that's what it is. It's you look at it, it can be a mean world out there. We feel like you have no friends, kids. Just look at that.
Well, I think the one thing we learned also is you can't have 50 kids out of the portal. This is
No,
not winning football.
no.
You're gonna have to start developing guys. And I don't know if I think Gus can develop. I'm just not sure he wants to.
Yeah, it's lazy football.
Right. And that's another thing I think when I was talking about kind of the NIL conglomerate of alumni, they're going to say, no, no money. We want you developing these guys that you keep touting. And
Hmm.
we may let you buy this guy. Like I could see them letting them buy a defensive tackle, or
Yeah,
something like that. But I don't think we're buying any quarterbacks. You
no.
sure ain't going to spend the kind of money that we spent on players this year.
Well, his offense is not that diverse.
It's a high school offense.
Yeah, I mean it's
That's all
not.
it is, you know? And again, we were told long ago, or 6 months ago, 7 months ago, he had the perfect quarterback for his system.
And he does not.
It's just a disaster.
Yeah, it's a blow up. It's a bust.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and wrap this up.
Well, for Knightspeed, I am Matt Johnson with his brother Mark Johnson.
Yeah,
So long, and again, I hope our Knights can somehow find a miracle to prevail next week.
right. So we'll just say go Knights.
Go Knights, charge on.
All right.